Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to my match reaction to Manchester United 1, Everton 1. Everton remain unbeaten under Duncan Ferguson's caretaker stewardship, but they did have to settle for just the 1 point here today. We might be disappointed not to leave with all three, but overall I would say the draw was the fair result. Both sides had spells where they were dominant, and the fact that we were always in the game after conceding even is testament to the work ethic of some of our lads, given the situation we're in at the moment. It's a very depleted side that we had to put out today, and they still did quite well. In all honesty, I was absolutely terrified when I saw this team. We really were down to the bare bones. Even Cuco Martina got a place on the subs bench today. For once, I actually agree with Sky Sports on something, and that is that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the man of the match today. He's been picked as man of the match now in 2 consecutive games, and again, I think we owe a lot of that to Big Dunk and the style of play that we've seen, which is really starting to make the most of his pace and his physicality. Along with Richarlison, I think he's really starting to lead the line brilliantly now, and he does deserve a lot of credit. Let's not beat around the bush. We've been very, very poor Everton this season at times, and I do think that has really taken the shine off a decent season otherwise for Dominic Calvert-Lewin personally. I think he's already scored more in this season at the halfway point than he scored in total in any of his previous seasons in his career. He looks as if he's making better decisions in-game as well. And over the last year or so, I just, in general, have noticed him getting better and better and better as the months have gone on. And now he really does look as if he could mature into a very good striker, and one with an exemplary attitude at that. Unfortunately, it's on that note of strikers and attitude that I turn to the one real negative of today's game, and that was the substitution of Moise Kean just 18 minutes after he was actually sent on as a sub for Bernard himself. Now, there's going to be a lot of questions posed to both Duncan Ferguson and Moise Kean by the press in the coming days, and no doubt about that. I think it's important to remember that coming away with the result was what was the most important thing today, and given the circumstances, I will take the draw. Unfortunately, the situation doesn't reflect too well on Duncan Ferguson, given that he's just hung one of his young players out to dry in front of what is really a huge watching audience. For his sake, I just hope it doesn't really undermine his own audition for the Everton job, because that aside, he's done wonders with this team so far, and long may that continue. As far as Moise Kean is concerned, he will feel embarrassed to have been hooked after such a brief cameo. However, most of all, he really needs to take a long look at himself after today. The display he put in today was pretty poor indeed. As a professional footballer, you simply cannot be huffing and puffing and pulling up after 15 minutes of Premier League football. When you compare his effort levels to some of the other lads like DCL and Mason Holgate today, it really does put him to shame. What's even more disappointing though for me is that he's clearly a very, very talented young player. On the other hand, Oumar Niasse is a very limited player who at times seems can't even trap a ball. But hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. And if I'm not mistaken, that very adage is plastered on the walls of Finch Farm, and it's no doubt a saying that Duncan Ferguson stands by himself, given the way we saw him play throughout his career. Whether or not Dunk will look back now and think, I should have really let him see the game out, is entirely his business. And now really we need to forget today and move on to the next challenge, which is a very big cup tie against Leicester at Goodison. And, you know, there's a place in the semi-finals of a major tournament at stake. And just like today, we will need the lads there to leave everything out on the pitch. We have already seen them do that in the first 2 games. Let's hope they can carry that on into the third. Aside from that, there was a lot to be pleased about. Mason Holgate was in an unfamiliar centre mid role, and he saw that game through with very few issues given how far out of position he was played. Tom Davies alongside him did very well too, I thought. An early yellow card he got, which threatened to see him sent off with 80 or so minutes still to play on a yellow card, but I thought, particularly in the second half, he kept his discipline brilliantly, which is not something we could always say about Tom in the past, so it's great to see another young lad there putting in another more mature display. Speaking of maturity, Leighton Baines was called upon him just days after his 35th birthday because of Dean's injury flaring up, and it was almost like he'd never been away. It was a really good performance from Leighton Baines off the subs bench today. And also the two centre-backs did well, defended brilliantly at times, and they'll be disappointed not to have kept a clean sheet. And that is what sums it today up for me, really. We've come away from Old Trafford with a draw, and for the most part, I'm disappointed. We saw today just what some of these lads are capable of, given some of them are very much peripheral figures. Who knows just what we could do if we had a fully fit team. You know, one day maybe luck will be on our side in that respect. But only time will tell, and hopefully time will go quickly enough so we do have a fully fit squad back sooner rather than later as we head into this very hectic, of course, Christmas period. No doubt Big Dunk, though, will want time to stand still. He must be loving every minute of this right now. As am I. It's nice to just be able to get back in front of this camera and feel relatively pleased with what I've just watched. Of course, a win would have been nice, but given some of the rubbish we've seen in the previous months, it's a great feeling just to be able to be sat here feeling proud of the team I support again. This season so far has been incredibly testing for even the most optimistic of Evertonians, but here's to hoping it might just be onwards and upwards for Everton from here on in this season. And onwards we go to the next game. They're coming thick and fast. Like I say, it's Leicester next in the EFL Cup on Wednesday. Be sure to check out all our content in the build-up to that, and of course my match reaction after that game on Wednesday night as well. Of course, right now we'd love to hear your opinions on this game and all the big moments. None more so, of course, than the Moise Kean incident, which will no doubt get a lot of coverage in the media. So be sure to drop us a comment below too, and give the video a like and the channel a subscribe to boot. As always, we appreciate your support and loyalty to our channel, so it's nice to finally be able to come back with some positive content to give yous, so by God you all deserve it. So more than ever, guys, thank you guys for watching on the Toffee Blues.